All right, proposition 327. In equal circles, angles standing on equal circumferences are equal to one another. Whether they stand at the centers or at the circumferences. I think we understand what that means at this point, but whether they stand at the center or circumference. The two occurrences of circumference here, I think, are referring to different parts of the circles. That's a bit confusing, but so maybe just to recap the last few propositions. So proposition 25 said given a segment of a circle to describe, so that just allows us to complete a segment to a circle. Proposition 26, which we're going to use, says in equal circles, equal angles stand on equal circumferences, whether they stand at the centers or at the circumferences. How is that not exactly what I said? Equal circles, equal angles stand on equal circumferences. Yeah, so this is the converse of that, right? That says this equal circles business is so kind of stupid. I'll stick with it. Like you just draw. I don't know why I don't just draw it in the same circle. But yeah, okay, we'll go ahead. So let's draw our two equal circles. ABC and DEF. The equal circumferences are BC and EF. So let BC be equal. Actually, yeah, I'm going to complain about this. What does it mean for BC and EF to be equal? I mean, we didn't have to face this in 26 because we were saying the angles were equal, and then we sort of corresponded the circles so that the points that were at the end points of the part of the circumference we were claiming to be equal match up, like when you apply one figure to the other, so it was clear what equal circumference meant. But if we're to say equal circumference here, what do we actually mean? Do we mean that if you apply one figure to the other, they match up? Well, in that case, like the angles, right, match up. So we don't really have, like, what is our notion of equality for lines? Well, it actually comes down ultimately to our ability from one of the early constructions in book 1 to cut off from a greater line and a segment equal to the lesser, right?
Right.
To basically to translate one line and put it directly on the other so that we can compare them somehow greater to lesser. I don't actually believe we have a notion necessarily of comparing parts of a circumference that's... Anyway, we'll go through with the proof, but I feel like this might also almost be better read as a definition, this proposition. We'll see. Okay, so let BC be equal to EF, and we'll see what we actually use. We'll see what that amounts to. I'm going to go ahead and label the centers, so they're G and H. Let angles BGC, EHF stand at GH. So BGC and EHF, G comma H, and BAC EDF at the circumference. We don't really need to worry about A and D corresponding to one another because we know that this angle is independent of which point we pick, right? So it's just some angle at the circumference, doesn't matter. I've drawn them sort of similarly because that's what the book does, but it's not important. So we claim BGC equals EHF. I'm not going to prove the angles at the circumference are equal because we know that it's half the angle at the center from whatever, one of the earlier ones, 20. Yeah, so that's redundant. Okay, so BGC equals EFH. For if BAC, what? No, if BGC is not equal to EHF, suppose Euclid doesn't write W log, but suppose without loss of generality, BGC is greater. Okay, I think the strategy here is pretty obvious. Then on BG at G, let BGK be constructed equal to EHF. So this is book 123. Alright, so I'm going to do that in green. So EHF is less than BGC, so I'll construct some line here such that BGK is equal to EHF. Okay, equal angles, if I could spell equals, equal angles stand on equal circumferences. So that's what we just did. So BK equals EF equals BC. Yeah, this whole thing is just like a tautology. A contradiction. So we're done. Yeah, this is dumb. This is dumb. It's a dumb proposition. Sorry, Euclid. It's just the definition, right? Like,
we've done a few of those.
Yeah. Okay. This is like a sanity check on the only plausible definition of what it means for equal circumferences, for two circumferences to be equal, which is that they kind of subtend. I don't know why we don't use the word subtend. I think it's appropriate, but stand on we say instead of subtend, or the reverse of subtend. So yeah, two circumferences are equal if they if the angles that stand on them at the center are equal, and this, I guess, shows you that that's the only sensible definition. I'm not going to call it a proposition, but yeah, there we go.
Yeah, 28 looks kind of similar as well. Maybe we're going to do another one of these. We'll see. Yeah, I find that the translation anyway kind of avoids a lot of technical language. They try to use like simple words. I don't know if that's a stylistic choice or maybe that's what it means. What exactly what it says in the original Greek. Yeah, I haven't seen subtend in the translation. Okay, so let's kill this. Probably only need 2 boards. Kill this one too. Okay, that didn't do it. Okay, so we are on, let me just check. Yep. Okay, so we're doing 28. And the statement is that equal straight lines cut off equal circumferences in equal circles. Circumferences in equal circles. The greater equal to the greater, the lesser the lesser. So when you have a straight line cutting off circumference, you're going to split it into two parts, right? In most cases, one will be bigger than the other. And so this is just saying that the bigger part will be equal to the other bigger part when you do this in two separate diagrams, which I'll draw below. Since we're talking about equal circles, we're going to have two diagrams, two circles. These two circles are equal in the sense that they have equal radii. I won't label them just yet. I'm going to have a straight line cutting the circle like this, and maybe another straight line cutting the circle like this. And I'm going to call the centers of these circles K and L, respectively. And of course, join them up. And I'll label these points in a bit. Okay. So they're equal circles, and we've got two circles. These points in the first circle with center K, I'll call A and B. In the second circle with center L, I'll call D and E. Okay, so I'm gonna avoid introducing more points and just kind of label these circumferences, right? So there's a circumference here, right? That's cut off by the line AB on the first circle. I'm gonna call it AB with a little thing like this, and this thing here, I'm gonna call it DE, right? And I guess the bigger one, I guess I'll call it AB with a different symbol at the top, right? So there's like a big part and a small part. This is gonna make it a pain to say, but hopefully it's fine because the proof is rather short, so we're going to be done before we can complain about the notation, right? Since the circles are equal, we have all the radii are equal, right? So, i.e. the radii are equal. And we see lots of radii in the diagrams. AK is there, is a radius of the first circle. KB is a radius of the first circle. And I'll mark the radii of the second circle the same mark as well because they're also equal, the same size circle. So these are all equal. So AK, K, or BK, DL, and EL are all equal. What else is equal? Are equal. AB. Furthermore, AB and DE are equal by assumption because that was what we assumed. Okay, and then we can invoke proposition 1.8 because we've got two triangles, as you can see, with three sides, corresponding sides all being equal. So the angle in the middle of the circle are also equal. All right. The angles AKB, which is the first angle at the center of the first circle, and DLE are equal. Right. And so now we invoke another proposition that we proved much more recently. This is 26. Right. Then that essentially just tells us that the AB, this is the small part, as indicated in the diagrams. Not always the small part. It's just the one that oh, sorry. I'll get into this one. DE, right? So these two are equal, right? And since the circles are equal, the circumferences are equal. So when you take this circumference and you subtract this small part, the other part, the bigger part, as indicated in the diagram, are also equal. Since circles are equal, AB and the other arc, DE, are equal as well. Yeah, so this is almost straightforward application of 22.
Yeah.
Do we have time for another one, or we're gonna? We started it late.
Yeah, I think we do. So we got 5 minutes left. Let's do it.
Cool.
I'll have to bring my iPad back in. Yeah, it's just the converse.
Yeah, here we're spending a lot of time on these. Maybe you're right. Like, we're trying to establish some definitions here, not assuming anything, and it's like feels a little circular. Well, not circular, redundant, right?
Yeah, it's not that satisfying at the moment. That's true. Well, sometimes you gotta do these things.
Yeah.
It's part of the art of teaching a math class, right? Is knowing when to just have the boring week where there are no theorems. Yeah. You're just kind of setting things up. Okay, having said that, proposition 329 is very exciting. It says the opposite, the converse of what Kenneth just said. It says in equal circles, equal circumferences are subtended by equal straight lines. Well, there you go. There's subtended.
All right. Wow.
I guess that sounds better than stood upon by equal angles. Okay, proof. Let ABC, DEF be equal circles. And BCEF equal circumferences, which we say means they are stood upon by equal angles. And then draw those angles. So this hypothesis means that if K and L are the centers, so BKC equals ELF. If you imagine there's some other definition, then read proposition 27 and convert your definition to what I'm saying here. We claim BC equals EF. But, well, they're the same triangle. But KB, KC, LE, and LF are all equal, as they're radii of equal circles. So by proposition 4, the bases are equal. And we're done.
Cool.
All right. Yeah, the next one's kind of interesting. We're out of time, but we'll start with that next time. Bisecting a circumference that feels real.
Yeah. So that one's super short. So we'll probably go through a few more next week.
Yep. Yeah, 31's a bit longer, but yeah, maybe we'll do at least.
Oh, actually, yeah, the 32 is not short, so maybe, yeah, we'll see. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks again. See you
Oh,
next week.
awesome. See you later, man.